Hello YouTube, this is Dr. Ronald W. Satz, founder and chair of the International Society of Unified Science and president of TransPower Corporation, a commercial custom software manufacturing and certified systems engineering company. I work as both a systems and mechanical engineer and as a theoretical physicist. As usual with most of my screencasts, we'll be discussing the reciprocal system of physical theory and how it compares to conventional theory. We've got three topics today: compact elliptical galaxies, red giants, are they young or are they old? And I got one more topic here: is this star young or old? So we're going to compare the reciprocal system with conventional theory. So first up, compact elliptical galaxies. As usual, we like to go to Science Daily for the latest research news, but you must understand Science Daily is based on conventional science, so you have to take everything with a huge grain of salt. The title of this piece is Astronomers Find Runaway Galaxies. And the summary, this comes from the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. We know of about 24 runaway stars and have even found one runaway star cluster escaping its galaxy forever. And now astronomers have spotted 11 runaway galaxies that have been flung out, so they say, out of their homes to wander the void of intergalactic space. Now this is an interpretation, actually. So let's go back. And I say here in my blog, and by the way, what I'm doing with these YouTube screencasts is going back through my WordPress blog, which is reciprocalsystem.guru, and annotating them, bringing them to the YouTube audience. So here we go. So that's a conventional view. These small galaxies have been flung out of their galaxy cluster. Not so in the reciprocal system. Compact elliptical galaxies in intergalactic space form from the combination of two globular clusters. Thus, they are young. And eventually, they will merge into larger galaxies. So, even if they're not associated with some nearby galaxy, at some point they will be absorbed into a larger galaxy, or perhaps two compact elliptical galaxies will combine. All right, now let's go on to the second topic. This has to do with red giants. Back to Science Daily again. Now this comes from the Leibniz Institute for Astrophysics in Potsdam. And the summary reads as follows. Astrophysicists have discovered a group of red giant stars for which the chemical clock does not work. According to the chemical signature, these stars should be old. Instead, they appear to be young when their ages are inferred from asteroseismology. Their existence cannot be explained by standard chemical evolution models of the Milky Way, suggesting that the chemical enrichment history of the galactic disk is more complex than originally assumed. And let's just see if there's anything else in here. Let's see. Christina Chiappini says, future observations will provide more clues as to the origin of these stars and the complex chemical evolution of the Milky Way. Well, let's see what the reciprocal system says about this. Now, in the reciprocal system, red giants are young, not old. Supernovae create a binary star system comprised of a red giant and white dwarf pair, or a solar system if the explosion isn't massive enough. Both the red giant and the white dwarf make their way back to the main sequence. So, in reality, red giants are young. They're newly created. Now, you have to understand there are two different generations, or at least two. Generation one would be a red giant created out of dust and gas, not from a supernova explosion, so that would be like generation one. But that eventually contracts to the main sequence and comes all the way up. On the main sequence, and then eventually explodes as a type 1 supernova. And that creates a red giant and a white dwarf, and so that's a second cycle star. But the point of this is red giants are young, not old, as is seen in conventional theory. So, as usual, my opponents are dead wrong. All right, now let's go to our third topic of the day. This is another issue about stars being young or old. And again, we jump over to Science Daily. And it says here, astronomers watch unfolding saga of massive star formation. So let's just see if there's anything worth stating here. Well, it says, quoting from the article, the scientists believe the young star is forming in a dense gaseous environment and is surrounded by a donut-shaped dusty torus. The star has episodes in which it ejects a hot ionized wind for several years. At first, that wind can expand in all directions and so forms a spherical shell around the star. Later, the wind hits the dusty torus, which slows it. Wind expanding outward along the poles of the torus, where there is less resistance, moves more quickly, resulting in an elongated shape for the outflow. Well, it says here, there are theoretical models developed to explain why nearly spherical expansion such outflows has been seen with the young stars much more massive than the Sun, when narrow beam-like outflows were expected based on observations of less massive Sun-like stars at similar stages of development, etc., etc. Okay. Well, that's the conventional theory, as you would expect from Science Daily. So, conventional theory says that this star is young because the alleged hydrogen-helium conversion process cannot last long given the high luminosity. But according to the reciprocal system, this star is actually old because of its high mass. Hence, they're variable. It's most likely variable stars, and with the variable star, sometimes mass gets ejected out. So the star's energy generation is due to the fission of its heavy elements, and probably not much higher than nickel or cobalt in this particular case, because there are these billowing clouds. So it's pulsating. So, all right. So as you can see, there's a big difference between age calculations between the reciprocal system and conventional theory. All right, that wraps it up for today. Thanks for your attention. For the simplest possible treatment of the reciprocal system, obtain my work, The Unmysterious Universe. You can get it from Amazon or from transpowercorp.com. It has all the concepts and lots of drawings. Now, if you do want all the mathematics, and I mean all the mathematics, you can get my work, Existence and Interactions, a computational treatise of the reciprocal system, the true theory of everything. Thousands of equations, 711 pages for the PDF, 711 slides for the PowerPoint file. And that'll take you months to go through. And once you've gone through that, then you can get the two database modules, the reciprocal system microcosmos database and the reciprocal system macrocosmos database. The microcosmos database has all the properties of photons, subatoms, atoms, compounds, and alloys. So if you're into materials engineering or chemistry, you definitely want to get that. And the macrocosmos module, that's the reciprocal system macrocosmos database, has all the properties of astrophysical objects, the universe as a whole. Galaxy clusters, galaxies, star clusters, stars, planets, moons, minor bodies, nebulae, and voids. So, but the microcosmos and the macrocosmos cover everything. And you can use these two modules in your engineering or scientific practice. So again, study the reciprocal system, prove it for yourself. Thanks again for your attention.